Okay, we're back. This took a while longer than I had expected. Again, not nearly as many good opportunities to record today, so. Alright, just gotta walk over to Everett. The guy who I've been derisively referring to as the Union boss. Oh, can't even walk there despite being open. Apparently, I can
You're back
convince this.
before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Been in this world for many days. Okay. Rhetoric, rhetoric, rhetoric. I don't think I actually have many rhetoric clothes. Just that, apparently. Anything that's reducing rhetoric? Probably not. Don't remember any of these reducing rhetoric. Okay.
You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Okay, so I need a 10 or better.
And as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with the rhetoric. Maybe you're losing your mind. Yes, of course. Now we're on the right track.
Inhale.
It smells like we're getting crates and pallets calling to mind. Vast stands of winter pines. A swirl of ancient odors absorbed by heavy carpet fibers. But also a pervasive, treacly sweetness that somehow reminds you of cola nuts. The whole place could probably use a good deep cleaning, you think?
Well, smelling much communism around the Union boss's office?
Meanwhile, Everard Clare clatters away on his typewriter, willfully indifferent to your presence.
Smells like something pretending to be communism.
Mr. Dubois, I hear the meeting with Titus was a glowing success. That's such a relief. Titus can be a handful sometimes. Now, what can Everard Clare do for you today?
Stun. I mail the signatures he asked me to mail.
The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be a true man of the left. I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
Hear that? You did it the honest way. You got the real signatures, and now he's happy. Well done. I don't know. Your dirty forgery fingers aren't sure if playing this one straight was the right thing to do. We would have preferred trickery, but the choice was yours, sire. As always. You are the liege, and you're in.
The signatures I got. I know you plan to force them out with the construction noise.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
so the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, officers. We are going to reset it. Reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce. Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
Youth Supermarket Church Complex. Do you really expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain. And then there will be a giant statue of him, towering above it all.
Wait, but will you erect a statue to yourself?
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, kids off speed, and landowners in a zone hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together.
Well, if it's something the landowners hate, then...
You would look nice as a statue.
Sounds like he got this. He can rely on my vote.
Oh, I do, Harry. I really do. I'm gonna make the working man richer than Joyce Messier with that vote of yours. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
Did you order the hangman killed?
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead.
What do you gain from him being dead?
Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war.
They're trained military people. Aren't you afraid for your men?
Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste.
How is this connected to the strike?
Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance.
Why are you telling me your plans?
Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening.
How many of you guys are in the Union?
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol. And they're all well motivated. At least the ones you've seen.
How are you going to fund your new independent harbor?
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
Clients will leave en masse.
Sure, some will go, but mark my words. The company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
Well, many of the parasites will be removed, but there's still going to be one sitting there. One that's expertly disguised himself as one of them.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities.
That's just the top of the iceberg, though, isn't it?
The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column.
In bulk shipping, large volume column is a major buyer, a shark.
We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his Benefed, and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and risperidone is used to treat severe psychosis.
Something I've noticed is that apricots come up a lot in this game, don't they? I wonder why.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share, and I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He's basically admitting to it.
I have to admit, that's a well put together plan, and far removed from you.
It's also far removed from my men and the people of Martinez who've put their trust in me. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbour's turnover, just like the harbour is, but a small part of Martinez.
It would still be illegal.
Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm going to unite them all into one economic body. We're going to incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's going to be in on the wealth, and everyone's going to pull their weight.
I mean, overall, if it weren't the Union... The plans are actually pretty good. I don't like that he's the one doing them. So I'll go with this option.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you. You have no idea how much it means to me, because in many ways, you are that working man. You have already done so much work.
Can I ask you about specific Union members?
We're way past specific Union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry.
Mm-hmm. Can I get my gun now?
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done. Your gun is with an old woman. I hear she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he described as terrifying.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway...
Union Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't worry, Harry.
The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
She was waving it around at people?
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
You sure about that?
We might be looking at someone with a medical history here. Watch out.
Who is this old woman?
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
Yeah.
It actually sounds extremely bad, but let's not give him the satisfaction.
Can you set up a meeting?
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
I'm not gonna question how Inland Empire knows this.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
I doubt he'd actually know anything about underground communists. So. I've got 2 skill points. Good.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes, wisdom withers if not shared. And old Leo is always up for sharing. Mr. Evrat doesn't really want me to talk to people about Union guys. But who did you want to talk about?
Tell me about this Edgar guy you keep mentioning.
Mr. Edgar is Mr. Evrat's brother. He looks a bit younger, he does. But a very smart fellow. Very smart fellow indeed. He's away on some Union business. Not even in Revachol, they say.
Don't interrupt Leo. Why should I interrupt Leo?
All kinds of places he visits. Him and his brother both do when they're on a vacation. Right now, it's Mr. Everett's turn to look after the Union. But last year he spent a whole winter in South Safra. Left with the first autumn rains and didn't come back before the trees were green again.
South Safra. A lot of bulk chemical manufacturing going on there. A lot of cargo shipments being made too.
He's a Union man through and through. Good guy. He's very calm, laid back, doesn't do much, talks to Everett sometimes. Honestly, I don't know what he does for us, but it must be important because everybody likes him. Yes, they do. I think that's what he does. He makes everyone feel a little better.
Oil for the wheels. Much needed in stressful times like these.
Whoa, he's really something. He doesn't talk much to me usually, but when he does, I don't really understand most of what he's saying. Actually, I don't think he would like me running my mouth about him like that. Once he said he's a dragon to this mob fellow who came picking a fight with some Union men. I think he really believes Jean-Luc was a dragon because he ran right off. Another time he almost killed another guy, but I shouldn't talk about that. Oh, Titus is a longshoreman through and through. He was born on a boat, they say. His veins are probably filled with salt water, I tell you. Nice, friendly sort, old Titus is. I'd best not. I mean, I could, but I don't think Mr. Everett would like it very much. You better ask him yourself, mister. The Night Guard. Ooh, he's a peculiar fellow. He's the strong, silent type, you could say. We talk all the time, but I don't really know much about him. He plays petanque with my old human studies teacher, Mr. Martin, down at the plaza. I think he's the only fellow who actually knows old Renee. They lived on the same street their entire lives, even dated the same girl on and off for as long as I can remember. Strange fellows. Mr. Martin was always real nice to me in school. I remember once.
Hold up. Gaston was your human studies teacher?
Mr. Martin, yes. Don't really remember much about him. I was just a boy back then. Sure, mister. What can Leo do for you?
Huh. Interesting to know. I got a bit of XP off of that too. Nice. Zoom out. There we go. I wonder what that information unlocked to check on the map. Nope. Wait a second. When was the last time I checked the Terra machine? I probably have a lot of... Wait.
The tear machine stands in the... Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now.
I haven't seen any Terra in ages, so I think I can unequip the bag finally. It's had a long run. Try the conceptualization check, so. Is that it? I only have one thing that improves conceptualization. Yep, okay.
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
Fail.
Wait.
Oh.
There's something here, stored away in some dusty corner. It starts like...
The mirror's temperature is always 0. It is ice in the veins. Its camera is an X-ray.
Whoa. What else?
It is a chalice held out to you in silent communion.
Silent communion. That's good.
where gaspingly you partake of a shifting identity never your own.
Dang, that's some great shit. You came up with that yourself.
Or did you learn it in school? More importantly, who can prove if you did? Go with it. You deserve some acclaim.
I don't really know.
No matter. Great verse is like that sometimes. Ephemeral. You might not look it. Seems you have some literary chops. Maybe
That's
there's
a
hope for me yet.
That's a strange compliment
Just messing with you. It's cool. You're an okay guy. For a cop.
for a cop.
They're more often into fists than rhymes, see? Let alone honesty in verse.
In a small office behind the old military hospital, hunched under the green glow of his desk light, Officer Hans Blau browses through a test print of his Futurist magazine. It's called The Futurist. The typeface on the header is too small.
Any organization gets all kinds of people. I'm sure we try our best.
The lieutenant looks at you in silence, a curious look in his eyes, nodding slightly.
Well, you've given me some hope, I guess.
You found some common ground with this man. Even impressed him. The next time you look in the mirror, though, remember those words.
That unlocked the check in the mirror, didn't it? Yep, I knew it. I can do that later. Let's take that shirt off again.
It is such a pleasure to see you again, officer. How may I head the citizens' militia on this fine day? Oh, the goal is to throw you bull. As close to the cochonnet as you can. That's the cochonnet.
Interesting. Tell me more about it.
Well, first, you draw a circle about a half a meter in diameter. We made ours out of rope. Then, the order of play is determined by a coin toss. You win it. You get to throw the cochonnet. Then, the players aim to throw their bulls as close to the cochonnet as possible. They must stay in the circle and keep both feet planted.
I think I get it. Thanks, guys.
You'll put that knowledge to good use in 50 years. I'm sure of that, officer.
I don't like where this is going, officer. Don't you think we should do something else now?
Sure, we got a case to solve. Any important checks? I could upgrade suggestion in order to get that. Actually, I haven't talked to Joyce in a long while.
There it is again. There's a spectral scent haunting this pair, no doubt. And it smells like sea brine mostly, because it's a pair. Years of turmoil, of hopes and dreams, ground beneath the inexorable tides of capital. What do you smell? The first thing that strikes you is the overwhelming brine. You imagine yourself underwater, a 100-legged arthropod scuttling along the murky silt at the bottom of the sea. But then, the unmistakable reek of seagull shit hits you, buoyed along on the air currents. An acrid melody atop mouldering chords of wood rot. and heavy fuel oil.
Still smelling for communist, detective?
What makes you say that?
No offense, detective, but you're not particularly subtle.
The lieutenant's right. It's sort of amazing how unsubtly you're sniffing the air around you. Almost like you're trying to call attention to yourself. What the lieutenant thinks is irrelevant. Your politico-olfactory cortex is lighting up like a holiday display. The scent of communism is overwhelming, and it's coming right from that balcony over there.
You mean from Cindy?
Certainement. A precocious communist youth. A symbol of a kinder, more hopeful future. Now's your chance to establish contact with your revolutionary brothers and sisters. A chance to establish contact with the future. What a beautiful, terrible thought.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
I didn't.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, Verm-like corruption, reaching into the bowels of the earth.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt Verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
He asked me to open a door.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
Yes.
Such referrals may sometimes get you information from a man like Everard. Did it?
Detective, I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Everett says the Wildpine sent mercenaries after the Union, and now one's dead.
Misinformation. This is all because we haven't shared information on the lynching yet. See? Already the adversary uses it to their advantage. Don't let him. Hurry up on that probe. The moment you tell me you're finished at the traffic jam, I will gladly tell you the company's side of the story.
She must really want you to look into the drugs. Otherwise, she'd tell you. She was worried for a moment that she's overplayed her hand by not sharing info sooner. Then she settles down, curious to hear more.
He also asks the militant wing to fully cooperate with the investigation.
How benevolent. Hopefully they'll help you sort this whole business out, if they haven't already.
While we appreciate your assistance, ma'am, I'm afraid we can't discuss the specifics of an ongoing investigation with you.
That is only fair.
I've said all I can.
Well, I hope it yields something. Otherwise, you'll have opened that door for naught. Anything else?
That's all I've got to say.
Naturally, Detective. There are lighter topics to gossip about.
He also asked me to deliver an envelope.
Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Where did he have you deliver it?
To a nameless settlement down the coast nearby.
Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
With longing. Clear and simple longing. Strange. Why does she want to go there?
You're quite fond of this village, aren't you?
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man with impossibly broad shoulders. He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another. Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not. Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from Azon with our shiny boats. Like reavers. We told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since the Coalition landed in '08. Imagine.
Oh no, she's sentimental, all right.
Oh yes, if you say
I'm
so.
over-radiated, Detective. I do silly things sometimes, out of pale-related sickness. Like, take this job. The moral of the story is...
So it was a factor in her coming to Martinez in the first place. Interesting.
Do not spend 22 days a year in Pale Transit. Don't waste your 20s slumming it with your stupid friends. And don't deliver Everard Clare's mail. Are you satisfied, Detective? What else can you tell me about your mail delivery quest for Everard? Do you think it will improve the place?
He wants to build a youth center here for the children of Martinez.
A youth center with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it?
That's what I was thinking as well.
Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. I have no power to stop him.
So you're sad you can't buy the place?
Yes. I'm sad I will never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
She is more defensive about it than usual.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information?
I'd rather talk about something else for now, if you don't mind.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
I've got more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
What is...
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
What am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
The Revachol Citizens Militia?
Preciso mundo.
Good, and what is the RCM?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
He's being sarcastic.
You said de facto.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
This is the whole organized by its citizens, not the government, right?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
Yep.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
So I'm basically going to avoid the subject matter. So I'm basically a lackey of capital.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown.
Yep, reminds me of the collapse of the Soviet Union. The whole Chernobyl disaster, and then literally the cause for the current state of Russia.
They called it the International Zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Ravasholians get to keep the peace in Ravashol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time. The revolution.
And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Yeah, they tend to get forgotten a lot, don't they, in the histories. Unless it's to pin the blame on some sort of bombing. Or to pin the blame on your ideological issues causing authoritarianism. Well, to cover the fact that your own ideological issues are the source of authoritarianism when explaining why your revolution degenerated into authoritarianism. Bloody Bolsheviks.
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Truly a kerfuffle.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Yeah. Smart king. I guess. Also kind of cowardly. Yeah, my first thought is smart king. He got out before the consequences of his actions could catch up to him.
Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
I think that ended up counting as... No, it didn't actually count as anything. Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals, you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
Let me guess. They swapped sides as soon as it seemed convenient.
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The Coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Who are the Coalition?
The Coalition of Nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
I think Rhetoric's going to chime in right now.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes I am, and also not. I don't think I am a moralist, man.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
You started it.
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Zaras do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
No way.
Indeed. Zarat is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
It was a funny time in history. They discovered transistors and rock music, but they didn't know anything about prions. Nobody did.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar.
Our lives are not the same.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Wait, so you're saying it's been like this for 43 years?
Time flies.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Of course, bend down to the international capital and we'll reward you. Until they find someone that bends down even more and they move on. Eventually you get plummeting of wages and workers' rights. Assuming that the international capital doesn't assume you to be an investment pit that will never go anywhere. Like most of Africa is assumed to be that way.
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Which side was Wild Pines Group on?
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
They got lucky.
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You would have sided with the king?
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
I asked you, who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past less detective of the citizens' militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't have enough information, so...
And you would have died, most likely. Not far from here. Maybe even right here, during the beachhead, defending the coast the day the Coalition took the city.
The cold runs down your spine. She gestures toward the waters.
Proud.
The wind stops. There is silence on the dark water of the Martinez Inlet. A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building.
No, almost certainly. The Commune would have forced you. Such was the fate of the undecided.
That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Now's your chance. Ask her who she is. She won't get out this time.
Seriously, I want to know what you are.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
Dios mío, a liberal.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. Perhaps you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra anymore. Not in broad daylight. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her, but only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
Sure.
I do hope so. I hope we are able to remain collegial despite my monstrousness. The Ultras didn't have anything against the king, or the Commune, you see. It was just business.
Ideology is one thing. People are people. And that's one of the most important things.
When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
And it shows. It really does show in the state of things. Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake. Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
Yeah. Better to die free than to live as a slave.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
Or my intellectual vanity will be my own undoing.
And the crown on your head as you lay in the casket.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
I found my badge, by the way.
By love, you did. Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I am glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation is precarious. What can I help you with, Lieutenant Freighter?
That's all. I've got 3 skill points. I can burn it on a random white check. Noise. Should I? No. Even if I do that one, it'll have to wait. Probably should acquire a map. If I remember correctly, it should be at the bookstore. Oh, there's things I haven't seen here. That's right.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over. A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring do. Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers.
I'm starting to look at it. What is this?
These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends.
Yeah, I'll go through this library and then call it for the, real life day and the episode, so.
What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives.
Yeah.
Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
Oh god.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective, Dick Mullen.
Tome of Fascist Magic. Rather candid.
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem important or relevant. It's all just vapid egoism. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob Irv and Alfie Delatraz, by one Cecilia Averbrook.
What's it about?
High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse, though, but not too long.
She understands she has erred against the customer and immediately corrects course.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce.
Another boring book, just discarded here.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinaise. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme.
What else?
Ozon, Laurentide, Fas à la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white,
The Pale.
disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou, in a bookstore. It's you. Radiating outwards from you, the suzerain Revachol. With a radius of 80 kilometers, still, the crown jewel of this Isola would be barely visible.
Squint first, can you see the cities on the islands?
You can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vilmandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas. Lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history.
Look at the edges.
The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seol is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. 850 million people live on these tiny dots. An oceanic world of culture and commerce, torn apart by history.
Look at the map of Revachol.
The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Revachol East.
And west?
Houdon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forburg. It's almost as bad, and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst.
And Martinez?
It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. North of Jamrock. The strip of coast next to the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest.
No, nothing's as bad as Coal City.
No, Coal City is worse. A charred limb. Rain falls on its slick black streets. And then there's the burnt-out quarter in the heart of Jamrock. Is it cold in this bookstore? Or is it just you? No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. Streets and sodium lights, the sky, the world. You're still alive.
Look at the map of Martinez.
It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbour, even the whirling in rags there.
Can I buy this map?
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Why is the one of Martinez so cheap?
That old thing? It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it?
What happened
They
then?
didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
I'll buy the map.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
Does that mean I get... Yeah, cool. So many things never happened. Just give me a good idea of where everything's at. Because, for example, the warded door. Warded door. Oh, it's opening the door, isn't it? The barbell. Thing, measure head. Padlock door all the way over here. Is that the church? No, it is not.
Several maps. The maps look...
Yeah, I'll do
This
this real quickly.
bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Look through the shelf.
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. These three things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
How does that work?
It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to and which costs more than this book, is garbage and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. Though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place.
Does the book say anything else?
The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this?
Find something truly otherworldly. 2.
The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pearl.
What's this book about?
The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pearl, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pearl.
Sounds painful.
It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation.
What else?
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pearl. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pearl and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired.
And what does this pale-aged liquor do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable.
How is that possible?
Is it any more improbable than anything else that human beings put their faith in?
Fair enough. What else is in there?
For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pearl, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions. This is exactly what you need. Andropanetic nudism? That's insane. That's beyond dangerous. There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Well, I certainly don't need that.
You close the book and return it to its place on the shelf.
Everyone knows that the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. Yep. Alright, that's enough for now. I think I'll call it here for the time being. So. Alright, I'll see you again next time. Until then.